Welcome, everybody, to the Shutter Hustle podcast. I am your host, Jorge Rodriguez, and thank you for joining us today. Today, we have very special guests in the building, Vero and Rafael Badillo. They're coming back for a second round. They had so much fun the first time.
We got forced back now.
Part of their contract deal is that they have to do 3 episodes per year. No, just kidding. No, I'm excited.
We just didn't want to get sued. Is all. That's right.
We're excited to have you guys, and thank you guys again for coming. It's been a while since.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. It's been a while since we last chatted. I mean, we've been in communication, but since we've seen each other, you guys have been busy with life and work.
Yeah.
Just tell our listeners how's life? How's just catches up a little bit? What's new?
Trying to stay fit now that we're older. So, just trying to stay fit and have family time right now that it's slow season. So
Yeah.
doing a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Vero?
Yeah, just getting ready for the busy season to start.
Yeah.
All the shows and all the sessions starting up once it warms up.
Right. And you go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, and because something that we do is we're before the busy season starts, we're about to get into our practice phase.
Okay.
Where we practice try to come up with new shots for the year,
Okay.
just to give people something different.
Gotcha.
That year,
Oh, that's interesting.
push us out of our comfort zone a little bit.
Right. Get out of the box.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's
And that's something that we just do on our own before the busy season.
Yes, I like that. That's very creative. I think that's and I wasn't aware that you guys do that, which is pretty
Yeah.
freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's something that we all should be practicing during our slow season. Get out there and try something different.
Quick thing, was that loud enough? Or might have been
No, you're good.
okay. Might have been a little dainty with that answer.
No, you're good.
Okay,
You're good. Your
okay.
audios are good.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. So yeah, definitely want to try to get out of the box and practice that. What about your last year? How did you guys finish last year as far as your events that were y'all busy or kind of give us?
It was busy. Everything's delivered as far as photo wise. Everything's delivered.
Yeah.
Just waiting on our last few albums to arrive so we can send those to their respective households.
Nice.
Yeah. Other than that, it was busy, but it was fun.
Good.
It was fun.
Good. Yeah. Well, guys, I brought you guys in today just to talk a little bit more about the business side. I know you guys are very passionate about what you guys do, especially Rafael. And I know that you guys do a lot of bridal shows, like you mentioned earlier, Vero.
Right.
Getting ready to ramp up for the 2024-2025 season, I'm assuming.
Right.
I guess, before I start asking the questions, how many bridal shows do you guys typically do in 1 year?
9, I think. We do 9.
9?
Yeah.
Okay.
Total 9. Yeah, we do 9. Half are in the, beginning winter season, spring, and then it jumps into the later second part of the year.
Okay. Where do you guys see having more success, in the beginning of the year or at the second phase or the second part of the year?
It's always in the beginning and then towards the end. The middle part of the year, which is like July, I think, is when we have a show. That was a little bit slower.
Yeah.
But that's just because everybody at that time is just kind of looking for last minute photographers or vendors at that time.
Right.
But yeah, beginning and the end of the year is when we have the most success. Yeah.
Gotcha. So then let me ask you this then. How did you guys first get involved into bridal shows?
That's something we started when we first opened the company. We started doing smaller, trade shows for like hotels and things like that.
Yeah.
And then applied for the bigger shows.
Okay.
Took about 2 years, right, until we got into the big shows. And then have been doing it since.
The big shows have waiting lists for certain vendors. Like photographers were a million out there, so we're all trying to get into the same shows. So there's a waiting list for photographers.
Really?
Photographers and I know maybe videographers
And DJs probably.
and DJs probably.
Okay.
But everybody else, you might just be able to get right in.
Really?
I don't know how this is gonna work for continuity, but I'm about to get naked.
Oh, God.
Well, hey, so welcome to the Shutter Hustle podcast, where we get naked halfway through the show. So yeah, I wasn't aware that there was a waiting list for photographers and DJs and videographers.
Yeah.
It makes sense though, because you don't want to have booth after booth of just of those vendors. You want to try to keep it limited.
And unfortunately, there are shows out there that will have a million photographers out
Really?
there, But yeah, it's a good thing that certain shows do limit with that.
Okay. So we are in the DFW area for those listeners that are out of the state of Texas. Can you name some of the big shows that you guys attend?
The one that we do is called Bridal Show Inc. Is that what they're called? Yeah,
Okay.
Bridal Show Inc. And then there's another one we used to do called, I think it's ACS, something like that.
Yep.
We just stopped doing them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then you do, because I know there's like the Plano one, there's like the Irving one.
The Bridal Shows Inc. They put those on. They have one. They have them in Dallas. I think they do 2 or 3 in Dallas.
Okay.
At the Dallas Market Hall, and then the same company does one in Las Colinas, Plano. Where else?
Yeah, I think those are and Fort Worth.
And Fort Worth.
In Fort Worth?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Metroplex.
Okay. Now, out of the ones that you guys attended from ACS, you say?
ACS, I think it's.
Which one is, I guess, the funnest one, right? Where it's you see more interaction from people walking in, and it's just the environment's live.
I think overall it's pretty much the same interaction with people because it's people excited, right, about their vendors.
Yeah.
I think the most important one is that you find a company that's going to do the right promoting for it.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you have a company that's really promoting, you're going to see a really good turnout.
But they're all fun just because you're meeting new people all the time, you know, and you get to hear their story and they get to hear your story. So all that is fun, you know. And then what makes it even more fun is towards the end of the show when there's downtime, because not many people go the last hour of the show. It's not that many people there. Clients, or what do you call them? Potential clients. Yeah, they're not there. So you go out and just kind of mingle with all the other vendors, and they're friends by now. So you're just kind of hanging out with friends.
Yeah.
So it's all fun. Yeah.
So what got you guys? I'm sorry. What excites you guys most about bridal shows?
Just putting ourselves out there.
Yeah.
Finding those new clients. Yeah.
Funny, that's the main reason.
Yeah, it's really finding those clients that are trying to educate themselves in it. They take your information, and if you win them over within that couple minutes that you get,
right,
you get to see that, and then you grow the relationship from there. So
is it the couples that come to your booth, and then with that little interaction that you have with them, when you see them get excited about it, kind of gets you excited about it because they're like, oh man, hopefully they hire us because it was just that little moment was a good interaction. So,
yeah,
you're going to have a good time
right,
with them,
So usually obviously it's both of you guys at the show plus your your videographers,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So y'all share the space together and obviously you sell it as one package, but do you train your team also on like, here's what to say, here's how to approach people, like how do you keep the consistency on how you guys do it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we definitely it took them at least like two shows before they actually got the hang of it, because we're not pushy when it comes to our shows. We're not out there in the middle of the aisle, hey, you need a photographer here. Right. We're not giving our stuff away like that. It's like let them come to our booth. If they'll come to our booth if they need us, and then they're gonna ask their questions and just kind of answering their questions. Don't be pushy. It's the biggest thing for us.
Gotcha.
We're not pushy at shows. We're not pushy when we try to book clients. We're never pushy.
Yeah.
I hate salesmen or salesy people. So that's the last thing we're gonna do.
Forcing something down.
Yeah. They feel it. It's uncomfortable. You know? Nobody. What is it like when you go to a car dealership and the guy's there trying to, upsell you or just be pushy.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, have you guys ever sent spies out there to go check on other vendors and photographers? I mean, just to see how other vendors do it, or
we have been to shows prior to booking the show, just because we want to see what it's like before we get in.
Right.
So, like we were looking into getting into quinceañera shows.
Okay.
Because we do very, very, very good in bridal shows, so we wanted to do quinceañera shows, but I don't know if any of the quinceañera people are watching, but they're just super loud. I mean, like you can't even talk to the potential client in front of you because the DJs at every corner are blasting their music full volume.
Yeah.
I can't communicate with somebody like that, Right. And one of the things for us is like the way we get a lot of our clients is we tell them stories about our pictures that are up there.
Right.
And I can't tell these stories if I'm having to scream it at you,
Yeah.
I I can't do that. So that's the reason why we don't go to the quinceañera shows.
Yeah.
They're just too damn loud.
Yeah, and then you'll have that awkward moment where the DJ all of a sudden stops. So you're like, I'm screaming, like, why are you yelling at me?
Right? Exactly. But yeah.
Okay, okay. What about you, Vero? How do you approach a potential client?
Just like Rafael said, is definitely not pushy. If
Yeah.
they need a photographer, they'll let us know, right?
Yeah.
So we're not going to force that on them. And then start asking them just anything to get them comfortable, right? Aside from, what do you want for your photographer, right? I don't go straight into those questions.
Yeah.
It's like just welcoming them into the space to make them feel comfortable to look at our stuff without us scaring them away.
Right.
And at the same time, like we don't want to ask the same questions that I'm sure they've gotten many other times from all the other vendors that they walked across.
Right.
Do you have a wedding date? Or, how long have you been engaged? Those are the same questions they've gotten but from every booth just on the way to yours. So we try to approach it a little bit different,
Right, right.
which is just going to depend on the client. Sometimes we'll comment on what they're wearing or their ring or whatever.
Okay. Okay. Now, do you guys, can you guys share a little bit of like your space? Like, I guess walk us through your setup. And then I know we've seen some videos on y'all's TikTok and Instagram accounts of, the behind the scenes when you guys are setting up. And I think those are pretty cool, especially the stories.
Yeah.
I guess walk us through, like, what do you guys do as far as aesthetically, setting up your space? How big of a space do you get, and kind of walk me through that.
So when we do a bridal show, our booth is always 10 by 20.
Okay.
When we do an open house, they're normally about 10 by 10 or 8 by 10, somewhere around there. But we try to show big pictures, and they have to be wow pictures, because we need the bride or the couple to see it from far away, and be impressed and make them want to come to our booth.
Okay.
But yeah, 24 by 36 is what we use, and what mounted on styrene.
Okay.
So they're not heavy or anything like that, because we don't want to be carrying around metal prints and stuff like that, and then taking the chance of damaging
Right.
those. And there's no need into it. We're trying to sell the photo, like the image.
Yeah.
Not the metal print.
Right.
If I was selling metal prints, like as a company, then I would take that, but that's not what we're there for. But yeah, 24 by 36, and we take everything that's big, like our big albums. We leave all the little stuff at home, like the 8 by 8 album that comes with our smallest package. That never goes to the show with us.
Okay.
'Cause there's no point in. We want to show big. We don't want to show little stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and that's all we take. 3 albums. 3 12 by 12 albums, 1 10 by 10 album, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8?
Mm-hmm. 8.
24 by 36.
Okay.
Prints on styrene.
Right. So how many hours before do you guys go before the trade show starts to set up?
30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
It's based on the trade show too. Some trade shows let you go in a day before,
Okay.
but we have our setup and breakdown within 30 minutes.
Right. So everybody on the team knows what their role is, and somebody set up tables, somebody set up
When
prints.
it's setting up, it's just Vero and I.
Okay.
And that takes about 30 minutes. When we're breaking down, it's all 4 of us. And that takes even less time.
Gotcha. So what I'm understanding is you guys have it down pretty much to a system. Like you said, you want to show big because you want potential clients to be looking from a distance and be like, wow, look at that beautiful picture. Let me go see what they're about.
Yeah.
And then your pictures tell a story. You're not selling the prints. You're telling the story within the picture.
And so the wow shot is just to get them there, to get you to our booth.
They're attention grabbers.
Yeah, they're attention grabbers. And those are all the ones that are behind us.
Mm-hmm.
But then we also carry a little, what do you call that?
A Surface Pro.
A Surface Pro.
Okay.
That has more images in it that are not wow images,
Right.
but there's a story behind them.
Gotcha.
There's stories behind all the photos that are behind us.
Yeah.
But the ones that are in that Surface Pro have more
Like meaning to us.
more meaning. I don't want to say more meaning. Yeah, more meaning
Right.
to those images.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that hook the client.
Right.
That's the one that makes them want to go and meet with us outside of the bridal
Right.
show. We're not.
Yeah, and it makes sense because you want them to kind of see your portfolio. They may see that one client on that one photo on display, but you also be like, look, here's the other work from that specific client as well, and they can see that there's the consistency from your style, right?
Those stories that we tell, they're not made up stories. They're actual stories. And like we've had mother of the bride one time like tear up from some of the stories that we were
Yeah.
telling her, and that kind of triggered something. It was like, when she left, I was like, what happened?
Yeah.
I wanted to understand why did she tear up? And it's like, that's kind of like when a light bulb went off, and I was like, you know what? These stories are we weren't telling the story to
sell. It was
just to sell. It was just a part of that shot that I
Right.
had. But it made me realize, you know what? If we did more of that, telling stories with our images, that kind of changed two things: the way we shoot, the way we shoot, and the way we handle our shows. Like we try to sell emotion,
Yeah.
and not pretty pictures.
Right.
And that is the one thing that separates us from everybody else in the show. Everybody else at the show is just trying to show you, hey, look, it's a pretty picture. We can get you that pretty picture.
Yeah.
But anybody can get you a pretty picture.
Right.
Can somebody get you a story along with that pretty picture?
Right. Because that's what you want. At the end of the day, you want your clients to go back and relive that story of the engagement session and then of the wedding day.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I love about y'all's style, that you guys always, tell a story behind how you got the shot. So that's shot it.
Yes.
Now you're making me second guess myself, bro.
Your English is not very good looking either, huh?
So let me ask you this other question. During the bridal shows, who gets the most attention? Let's just say, like, if I'm the groom, will I go to Vero first and talk to you, or does the groom, do you notice a difference between brides and grooms coming to each other or up to y'all?
I'm horrible at obviously at speaking, so they always start with Vero
you're
first,
good.
and then I just kind of show up. I can't even speak it, like I can't even speak. So, but yeah, they always start off with Vero, and I just kind of slowly creep my way in there. And,
Hi, I'm Rafa.
Yeah.
You see that? I'm Rafa.
but then and then there's sometimes the booth is very busy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's mostly they always start with Vero and fall in love with her, and then they.
Yeah. So basically, what I'm understanding is Vero's a selling point.
Yeah, she's a lot easier. She's a lot easier to talk to.
Yeah.
Not on camera.
Not on camera. Well, you're doing great. You're doing great. So, the ladies obviously gravitate to you. What is like one of the first questions that you get asked frequently?
Really, that's hard to answer.
Yeah.
Every bride is looking for something.
Have you ever had one bride be like, "How much do you charge?" Like right out of the gate, "How much do you charge?"
We've had some people that walk to the booth, and that's the first question.
And the ones that say, "Hey, how much do you charge?" are the ones that we don't. Really.
We know it's not that there's they already have a purpose. They're going to find the most affordable for them, right? So
and we're not the most affordable.
Yeah, so no question, just give them the pamphlet that we hand out, and it has our starting prices. I'm like, well, this is what we start at.
Gotcha.
And this comes with 2 photographers and so on. And usually they leave or they'll stay and ask more questions, but that's not rare. We don't get that. We don't get that too often.
Okay. A lot of times it's mostly like they just show up and we just tell them, hey, look through the albums.
Okay.
As they're looking through the albums, that's when we kind of start telling them a little bit of like what's in there.
Yeah.
Like the story behind it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just to kind of get the ball rolling.
Gotcha.
Once they start hearing the stories, and then, little jokes come out here and there or whatnot,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have them fill out like a questionnaire? Like, hey, fill out this, I guess email to grab email informations and stuff like that?
So once again, we're not pushy. So we don't, unless they ask for pricing, then we'll give them this little.
What is this? Let me see. Show it to the camera. Let me see.
So this is our, what do you call this?
Pamphlet?
Our pamphlet. And just has our name on the front, and then it just has our starting price. Let me see if I'll probably leave it here. That way you can. But yeah, it has just a little bit of information. Sorry, this side. Information on that side, our starting price, and then just some of the images that are up there.
Okay.
That way they can kind of remember who this pamphlet belongs to.
Right.
And just in the back a few more.
This is very cool. So this is what, they walk up to the booth. They get obviously the brand, and then the first impact images is like, wow, I want this for me.
Yeah, but they don't get that until they ask for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't just
You're not just like, hey, what's up? Here you go. Take
Yeah.
this.
It's very non-invasive. They come up, they look at our stuff. If they seem interested and we're asking them questions and it seems like they may be a possible good fit, then we'll ask if they want more information.
Yeah.
They usually take that. And if they have even more questions, then we offer, well, we can send you our more detailed information if you're interested.
Right.
So then they offer their email address to us and they are expecting to get that information from us. So it's more of those clients that are truly possibly interested in going with us.
So when they ask, like, oh, well, what's included in this? You know, when they ask a little bit more past what's on
Yeah.
the information that's on there, then that's when we ask them to fill out a form that asks for their names, their wedding date, the email. We want to keep that form super simple. We don't want to know what shoe size you wear and all these other questions. Are you, I don't know, your pronouns and all this other stuff, because then the more stuff you ask them, the less likely they are to fill it out.
Right.
So we just need the couple's name,
Okay.
the date, and their
Email
email.
address.
All right. Okay.
And then that once we get that, then we send out the information to them.
Nice. Nice. So what I'm understanding is that you guys are not very aggressive with your approach, right? You wait for them to come up, initiate the conversation. Typically it's Vero. And from there, you give them this beautiful pamphlet, which is incredible. I love it. I love how it's detailed. I mean, I would, if I were to get married again, I'd book you guys, right? But you give them the information and then you kind of wait for them to start asking you guys questions, right? And if it gets a little bit more into like, hey, we need to schedule a meeting, then, you start sending them times and I'm assuming dates and links and all that stuff for.
We just send them a link that gives them access to our studio calendar, and then they can select the time and date that works best for them. We just want to make it easy. The least complicated you can make it for the client, the better.
Gotcha.
That should always be the goal.
Right. That makes sense. Right. They're going there probably looking for a million things, right? DJ, cake, catering.
Yeah.
Photographer, videographer. So you want to make it less stressful and that way they could remember you. And I think this is really neat. This is a pretty good approach of giving them the pamphlet, basic information, and then go from there. So what are some other tips that you guys can share with photographers to make the most out of their approach at a bridal show?
Tips.
Definitely just be able to make that interaction. If you see somebody making eye contact to your booth, don't be afraid to just welcome them in, because sometimes that person needs that a little bit of encouragement to step in, because these are also first time brides and they're nervous too. They've never been to bridal shows before, so you give them that welcoming face, they come to you, and then they're ready to start asking you questions, and that interaction might have gotten you that sale without you even pulling out a contract.
Nice. There you go. Well, there you go. If you're looking welcoming, make sure that if they're looking, make sure you bring them in.
Yeah.
Figure out a way like, hey, come in.
Yeah.
Talk to me on board or something. I don't know.
Well, sometimes we'll even joke around. We're like, well, this part's free. You can look at our stuff for free.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's good. That's good because it makes you guys relatable, because obviously they want to be like, I want to go get something that's going to be, if it includes free, let me listen a little bit more, right? And then you give them your work and it's like, okay. And then they start falling in love with the personality. I personally think it's, like you said earlier, everybody can take a pretty picture, right?
Yeah.
But it's how you can relate to your photographers. I think personally that our role in the industry is very important to our clients' life, right?
Yes.
Just because if we can relate to them and we build that connection, that's how you're going to be able to tell their story.
Yeah.
So from the go, be approachable,
Right.
right? And then kind of start the conversation. Don't be afraid.
Yeah. But and another tip is like, don't bring small stuff. If you're gonna show up to a bridal show with like 4x6s and 8x10s, stay home, because you're wasting your money that way. You want to show big because you want to be able to grab their attention.
Yeah.
And leave all your furniture at home. Those people, the photographers that try to set up a living room at the bridal shows. It's like, dude, they're not trying to buy a couch. They're trying to buy your work. So leave all that stuff at home.
Yeah.
There's no need for all that.
Right.
Yeah.
So bring big.
Yeah.
Bring big displays and bring a big positive attitude.
And I understand that, like, the biggest things like bringing canvases and medals. Yeah, that's showing your work, but you're running the risk of ruining that stuff. Now, now you don't have that sample at your studio.
Right.
And there's no need to carry those big things, because they're not trying to buy the canvas itself. They're trying to buy the artwork that's on the canvas.
Gotcha.
So if you can just bring a styrene print, 24 by 30, I wouldn't go anything smaller than 20 by 30.
Okay.
If you just bring a styrene, very easy to lightweight and everything. We carry, like we said, 8, but we carry more than 8. We carry about 15, something like that.
Yeah.
And we just carry them in a box that's about this thick, not that thick, but and 24 by 36.
Yeah.
And that's like 15 or so prints. So you
Yeah.
know, imagine carrying 15 metals.
Right.
You're gonna have to show up with a whole case up there.
Right. No, for sure.
Yeah, and we do just fine.
Yeah. What do you recommend to photographers to kind of look out for when selecting a bridal show? Right.
The biggest thing, I'm gonna talk shit, I guess. ACS. The reason we stopped doing ACS, when they reached out to us, the first thing we ask all the time is, do you limit the amount of photographers that are in there? Because if I'm gonna be there, I don't want 15 other photographers at the same show.
Yeah.
And they said, yes, we limit. I can't remember what spill they gave me. Yeah, we limit, blah, blah, blah. Show up to the bridal show, and there's like 3 or 4 photographers per row at this show. I was like, dude, how can I compete with this,
Yeah.
And even if I don't want to say how can I compete with this, it's just there's too many photographers.
It's overwhelming for the clients. It's hard for someone to focus on one type of service if there's 20 in a room that you're surrounded by that's trying to throw all this information to you, right?
Right.
So it's hard for you to connect because they're done talking to the first or second photographer they've already walked past.
Yeah.
They don't care about the others. Now,
Right.
let's move on and see what else is here.
Yeah.
But definitely ask how many, if they put a limit on the amount of photographers that are there, and see if they market.
Okay.
See if they market, because if they're just expecting you to do all the marketing, then
Right. Right. Yeah.
I would say those are the 2 biggest points.
Okay.
Make sure that they market and everything, and go to the show before you actually book.
Yeah, 'cause-
before you actually.
So you're saying attend the show as a guest to kind of check it out, see how.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that might have been
best.
that. I guess that was definitely our fault, because we didn't attend ACS first. We just kind of like booked it,
Right.
and did it.
Well, I think that definitely knowing the show ahead of time gets you better prepared for it, or what to look for. And a lot of these shows are really expensive.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure it's worth you putting all that money in if they're doing the promoting, or even if they have a door fee, or if they're what they're offering to the clients. Because I think the first time we did that show, there were no cake vendors. And I think everybody was looking for a cake vendor, but every other booth was a photographer. So you just want to do your research for sure.
So what, like booth, you mentioned, they can get expensive. What price range are we talking about? I know you said 10 by 20, I think you said.
10 by 20 is what we do.
So on average, what is something like that?
She handles all that.
About 2,000 a booth for 10 by 20.
Okay. So wow. So you already, just to get the space is $2K right out the gate.
But if this is gonna be your livelihood, then that 2,000, I would pay 2,000 easily if I'm gonna make 7,000 out of that. And that's just one event,
Right.
And you don't book just one event, you book multiple if you do your job right.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So definitely it is a huge investment just getting in there, but the return of investment could be incredible if you do the job right, and if you promote it well and you showcase your work.
Yeah.
But that's the only unfortunate thing, that you may be paired next to another booth that's a photographer, or do you get to select where you want to kind of be in the
the shows that are done right, they never put 2 vendors of the same kind next to each other. Bridal Shows Inc. is amazing. They don't do any of that. They limit everything, and that's why there is a waiting list with them. And we're never close. I can't remember how many photographers. It's a good amount, but it's not too many.
Yeah.
And we're apart from each other. So they do a really good job with it.
So when you say there's a waiting list, is it like first come first serve? Like, once let's just say you're the first photographer to sign up, you automatically got your booth, or how do you know how that waiting list works?
So we're grandfathered in.
Okay.
So, and I'm thinking a lot of vendors are. So as those vendors choose to leave those bridal shows, then it opens up a spot for somebody else in that same field.
Gotcha.
So once you get in, it's good opportunity to stay in because you get grandfathered in, and there's a lot of good things that comes from that, right? Like they're very accommodating. If we ask or need anything, they're very accommodating.
Okay.
And then we have a relationship with the people that we're working with. It's more like it's easier to communicate, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
And it's also just it just makes it a lot smoother when you're dealing with one person the same for every show that you're doing across the Metroplex.
Yeah.
So that keeps it pretty balanced and organized for yourself. And then they kind of respect you more too. I feel like they it's like we build a trust with each other.
Right.
So it just makes the shows simpler, and then you don't want to leave.
Yeah.
And stay in, just because you do a show and you don't book anything from that show, that doesn't mean that nobody saw you. You got to stay in because the next show that you do, they're going to remember you. And then that's when they might book.
Gotcha.
So the point is just to stay in front of the eyes of your potential clients,
Right.
So yeah, just don't get discouraged,
Yeah.
when you're doing it. And bridal shows aren't the only, everything that you're hearing right now is something that you can use in open houses.
Right.
Which a lot of open houses are free. Some do charge and whatnot, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that you guys do quite a few open houses.
Again, staying in front of your potential clients' eyes.
Right. How do you guys get the opportunity to do open houses? Do you have to know like the
Ask.
To reach out. You have to reach out.
to reach
Yeah.
out? Yeah. How far in advance do you guys start looking at? Or I guess, if I wanted to start doing open houses as well, like do I just reach out to the venue directly that you want to be part of the open house, or?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Just reach out and ask as soon as you're probably gonna get a lot of no's, but you're gonna get that one yes, and that's all you need.
Gotcha.
And dude, as soon as you find out, it's like, oh, I just saw that they on their Instagram that they're doing an open house in 2 months or 1 month.
Yeah.
Ask.
Okay.
They might have had somebody that backed out, and they need somebody now.
Okay.
It's happened before.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's definitely a good approach to take. Just ask. You know. And
What's the worst that can happen? Oh, we're filled up next time.
well, nowadays, there's these venues that they have their preferred vendors only.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, we're not on any of those preferred vendors list, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. How do you feel like your success compares to bridal shows? How are those success stories? Are you guys seeing that bridal shows are effective as well compared to a bridal show, or
Compared to open house?
I'm sorry, yeah, an open house, correct?
Bridal shows and open houses, I think they're both equally. We get the same amount from both of those shows. About 90% of our clientele comes from open houses and bridal shows.
Okay.
We just need to get in front of the bride,
Yeah.
or in front of the couple. Let them hear our stories, and that's it. That's all we need. Once they're at our studio, that's it. We have about 99% booking rate.
There you go. Can you guys share like a memorable story or a time from a bridal show that was one of those epic kind of stories that you guys like? Man, that was a beautiful connection we did, and it flourished from there.
Well, the ones that we always get. We've had a few where, oh man, that was a great connection with that couple, and they're a good looking couple and whatnot, and then they never call. Those are the ones that I only remember.
Yeah.
The ones that don't call. But I think the biggest one that always sticks in my head was that one that made that light bulb click,
Okay.
the one where when the mom started tearing up,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Because like I said, that changed everything for us. The way we do everything, the way we approach shoots, the way all that happens now.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely is a story to remember, because if it's going to change the way you approach how you do your setup and how you move forward with, these investments, that's definitely a eye opener for anybody.
It changed everything. And then once we started implementing these new things, we saw our bookings
Yeah.
rise, because it made us stand apart from everybody else.
Gotcha. So let me ask you this: once you got your potential clients walk up to you, and you give them the presentation and you give them the pamphlet, and then you grab their email, right? What kind of information do you send them? To their email.
So we send them our. It's a PDF. We send it to them, and it has literally all of our pricing on there. That way, when they show up, there's no. Only thing we have to do is just answer their questions about, because there's going to be certain things on there like that they're not going to know what it means, like client for life, or
The differences between the albums.
the differences between the albums and stuff like that. They're just we're gonna answer those questions, and the booking process. That's pretty much all they're gonna be asking us. But yeah, it's a PDF with all our pricing, and obviously it's not just like, it's kind of like this thing. It's not just it's not just a sheet with numbers and letters on it. It's got a good presentation. It's got pictures on it, and obviously it's gonna be wow pictures and stuff like that. So.
Right. So I know, and I've learned what Client for Life is through you, and I've implemented that into my collections. Which, when the first time I heard you guys talk about it, I was like, "That is incredible." So, briefly describe what is Client for Life for those that may not understand what that is.
So Client for Life is, once the client books with us, any session that they want. Obviously, excludes like event photography, but like if you want a senior session or a graduation or a maternity or whatever, the sitting fee is waived.
Okay.
Only thing that they have to purchase is any digitals or any wall art.
Okay.
Like that, yeah.
Okay. So it gives you an opportunity to have returning business from past clients.
They get to save that sitting fee, and we get to we get to have more clients.
So when I heard this the very first time from Rafa and Vero, I thought this was like one of those light bulb moments. I'm like, wow, I've never heard anybody do something like this. And I implemented it because I thought it was great, and which is going to kind of lead into our next segment about IPS.
Yeah, because you lose that whatever your sitting fee is. For us, it's $295. I'm losing that $300, but I'm making, the other $2,000 on sales.
Yeah. But before we move into our next topic, because I want to talk about more about that. I don't want to jump ahead too much, Rafa. I'm gonna ask you guys my next questions, right? So I'm gonna ask you to tell me a number, or three numbers from 1 to 15, so I could ask you the most randomest questions.
This is the part that Vero was nervous about.
This is the part that Vero was nervous when I told her about it like 10 minutes before the show started. She's like, what?
I pick the numbers and you answer it?
Oh, no. I'll do the numbers.
Okay.
Go ahead. What numbers?
I'm picking the numbers?
Yeah.
And you're answering.
No, okay. I'll do the numbers. You answer.
Okay.
Okay. 3.
Okay.
9. 7.
Okay. All right. So number 3. Ready, Rafa? What is the most challenging wedding photography situation you've encountered?
Most challenging one? This was like super early in our career. Were we doing off-camera flash at this time? I can't remember if we were doing off-camera flash, but we were. It was an outdoor wedding, and they set up a tent, so there was like literally like no light coming in, and I couldn't get that little infrared light to show up, because I think we had just switched to new flashes or whatever. And dude, I was like, it's not focusing. And so we literally had to pull out our phones and then shooting that way just so we can get some sort of light on there. But yeah, that was the most stressful thing. So I think like her job that wedding was just to hold the light.
So Vero was walking around with the light just so you could focus.
Yeah, so I could focus. Yeah, the damn infrared wasn't firing.
So why was it? Do you recall why it wasn't firing?
Something was set up different on the camera.
Yeah,
so I don't know. But yeah, that was like super early in our career. Yeah.
That's good. Well, I'm glad you were able to get that taken care of, because imagínate, Vero's still out there with the flashlight just so you can get focused.
That's what sets us apart from everybody.
For sure. All right, and then we said we said 3. We said what numbers did we say again?
3 and 7, I think.
3, 7, and what other number? I forgot. I'm sorry, guys.
9, yeah.
Okay, we'll go 7 and 9. That's okay, all right. All right. I know the answer to this, but I'm gonna let my listeners hear what inspired you to become a wedding photographer. I'll give you an easy one there.
What inspired me to become a wedding photographer? I don't remember. No, actually, it's like I was shooting everything else besides weddings. I did not want to deal with what do you call it, the bridezillas, because you know you always hear those stories.
Yeah.
I was shooting rocks, anything besides people. And then she convinced me to try a wedding. And I can't remember if I did it for free or if it was for $200.
I think it was $200.
It was $200. And
Still free.
yeah, exactly. And I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. And then right after, like literally after that wedding, I stopped shooting everything else and just went on to shooting weddings. And I can't see myself going back to anything else. Yeah.
That's good.
I love the story of couples.
Yeah. Well, you guys are doing a good job at storytelling. So I'm glad you stopped shooting rocks.
Yeah.
And you got yourself more than $200 now.
Yeah.
Per event. So that's awesome. All right, here we go. The last one. If you could photograph any celebrity wedding, okay, whose would it be?
I know who I wouldn't photograph.
Oh wait, hold on now. This
My what is it called when you get a pass but it's for a celebrity? What is it called? You know what I'm talking about?
It's
just
a
called
pass.
yeah.
Pass.
But she already got married. That's why I wouldn't photograph. She disappointed me. Vanessa Hudgens.
Why? What happened? What's the story?
She got married. She got married.
Okay. Oh, you wanted to photograph her, or was there?
She's my celebrity crush.
Okay. So we're talking about what celebrity? Oh, so you would photograph your celebrity
Well,
crush,
I wanted to,
but she didn't hire you, so that's why she
didn't
burned
marry me. That's what it was.
Vero, what about you? Huh? Let's see. Who would you celebrity crush if you want to go down that road too? Let's open those can of worms.
This whole podcast went a whole different route.
I think I'd have to go with him too. My favorite artist would be Brandon Boyd because he is engaged, I think, or secretly married. We don't know.
So we can.
That would be fun.
Brandon who?
Boyd.
Who?
He's a singer for Incubus.
Okay.
He, I would see like beach vibes, hippie vibes there.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Well, maybe we need to send some DMs out and see if they're still looking for one of the best photographers in the DFW. And Rafael too.
Right.
Can tag along. No, that's awesome, guys. Thank you for answering those random questions. I try to make them as easy as I can, but sometimes they're not as easy. So we're going to move on to the next subject. And I know you started talking about it earlier, and I know you were excited to talk about it. What is IPS? As I had one of the Instagrammers send me a message for the questions to ask.
Awesome.
And they asked, what is IPS?
IPS stands for in-person sales, right? Yeah. And it's basically, you're offering more than just digitals to your client. You're actually going full service and offering prints and albums and whatnot. Yeah. You know, you're giving them more of an experience than just like, shot the wedding, here's your digitals. Yeah. And call me when you need more, you know? Yeah. You're actually giving them a little bit more than that. Yeah.
Besides financially, what else inspired you to start doing IPS?
Financially, the money. Well, actually, like, we just wanted to do more for the client. Okay. You know? And that was when it happened during 2020 when I found out about IPS. Yeah. But yeah, just wanting to do more for them, giving them more of a luxury experience. Yeah. And not saying that it can't be done, and I'm sure because there's a lot of shoot and burn luxury wedding photographers, but we wanted to do a little bit more than that. Right. You know, just giving them a more luxury experience.
Okay. Vero, and I know when I attended to one of y'all's courses, you have a big hand in the IPS as far as the back end, the back of the scenes, right? With the album editing and the quality check.
Right.
You know, what do you like about the IPS process in general?
Seeing the product to the end, you know, being able to give it to them and seeing their faces when they get it. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. You get to see the tears again or the excitement again, or them just being ready to put it in their home,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely seeing your work. I don't know anything about that, but definitely seeing your work printed is a whole different experience than just seeing it on the screen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are so many times when I get caught up looking through what I helped put together, and I'm just have a big smile on my face, like, oh, I remember this,
Yeah, yeah. And like you said, it's just seeing them giving them their final product, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, you're waiting for albums to come in, you do the quality check, and then you're reliving that moment for them.
Yep.
Yep.
And it's just like, wow, we did this, we created this for our clients, right? So that's incredible that you guys offer that. Is that offered in every single collection that you provide?
Yeah. So for weddings, that's the way we do. We do IPS, and we don't. We also shoot seniors and quinceañeras. Sorry, went blank. But the sessions that are private. What's the word? That we only do for the wedding clients and the quinceañera clients.
Okay.
Because we don't shoot maternity for somebody that's coming from the outside.
Okay.
We don't shoot anything else that's like that. It's for those clients. It's also the same thing. It's also IPS.
Gotcha. All right, guys. So I apologize about that. We were having a little bit of technical difficulty. So we're going to start talking about IPS, right?
Right.
Can you help me understand what does IPS stand for?
IPS stands for in-person sales, and it's just offering your client a little bit more than just digitals. You're actually giving them the opportunity to have a better experience by buying like prints and albums and whatnot like that.
Yeah. How long have you guys been doing IPS?
Since at the end of the last quarter of 2020. So what's that? 3 and some years?
Yeah.
3 and some months. Yeah.
Yeah. How was your very first IPS?
Dude, the very first one is actually the one that's like, oh, like that's the one that got us excited, because the very first one, keep in mind, we were practicing. So all of our clients that we were practicing with were getting all their digitals. They were getting full resolution digitals. So these are things that they can do themselves.
Right.
But we were just doing it to practice, to kind of get all the kinks out of the way. And we did it, I think it was a quinceañera, right? Something like that. We did it, and they bought a $2,000 package. And that was like, when she left, we were like super excited. As soon as we closed the door on her, we high-fived and everything, because that had never happened. And she could have done this on her own,
Yeah.
but she still went ahead and bought it. The thing is, that's when we realized that only reason people aren't buying from you right now is because they don't know that you have it available for them.
Okay.
Just make it available for them,
Yeah.
and they'll buy it,
Yeah.
even though they're getting their digitals.
Right. How much time did you guys spend like creating your packages and collections? Because putting something like that together.
Yeah, because you did it.
I did it myself, and Rafa helped me. I was blessed to have Rafa, because I had no idea where to even start. And I think when we did the very first podcast, that's when I was like, what is this IPS? And then, you walked me through, and I was so blessed that you guys were able to help me and kind of mentor me through that. But I mean, who mentored you, and how did you guys kind of get started?
I took a class, but man, it took just doing the numbers on its own. It took me, man, weeks.
Okay.
Just making the numbers, making the packages, and it was like, nah, it's not gonna work. Throwing it away,
Yeah.
and starting all over again. Because when I would make a package, I would sit there and I would stare at it to see, okay, how can they object? What are going to be my objections from this, from what I'm presenting? Then I'll see, okay, they're going to object here. So I'll have to start all over again.
Okay.
But it took weeks for me to do it.
Really?
And not weeks that was like, oh, I'll do it for an hour here and there. No, it was weeks for like 10-hour days.
Yeah. Going back to the drawing board and making sense of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Just because that's what you're going to be selling. So you want to make sure you understand your product.
Yeah. But like I said, I was kind of starting from scratch. You know? I learned a little bit of it, but a lot of it I did it from scratch. So yeah, it took me a while, but it doesn't have to take you that long.
Yeah.
Just ask. Ask people that have done it, or if they don't want to answer it, ask me, and I'll let you know.
Because you also offer a class, I believe. Last time you guys were offering
Yeah, what do you mentorship?
mentorship,
Yeah,
right?
there you go.
Are you guys still offering mentorships?
We still offer them, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just let the people know where can they sign up for a mentorship real quick.
At rafaelbadillo.com.
Okay.
Yeah, and under our info section, you'll see the mentorship.
All right. And I highly suggest it, guys, because it's if you're really wanting to get into IPS and really try to take your business to the next level, highly recommend you do it because
And especially because like here's something that every photographer, well, I don't want to say every, but like the majority of photographers, when you talk to them, was like, oh, having a studio, that would be nice. I would love to have a studio.
yeah.
The easiest way to get a studio, start doing IPS. But how it's like, if you can get one client to buy an IPS package from you, that's enough to pay for your studio.
Okay.
One client a month.
Yeah.
You're gonna tell me that you can't find one person a month to do this?
Yeah.
If you can't, then you need to quit photography and go somewhere else.
Right.
You know? Yeah, it's just one client a month, and you can pay for your studio and have a little bit left over. Now, if you can find two, you're even better now.
That's when you start really kind of taking this more serious. So I guess, walk me through those steps. Like, I know you say you spend up to 10 hours a day, perfecting your collections and your pricing. It's kind of like, what is like a beginner's guide for, what's the first step that we need to take to build an IPS program?
The first step and the funnest step is finding products that are gonna match your brand. Like metals and canvases and what size that I want to offer in these prints and the albums and all that stuff. All that is the fun part. That's the easiest thing you can do first.
Yeah.
You kind of have to do it first. Then after that is the hard part, doing your numbers.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. That's the part when I suggest, reaching out to somebody that can help you out with that.
Yeah.
And then what will be the next?
Finding your cost, your value.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, your cost and all that.
Finding your costs, building, making sure the numbers work out for you, right? Because you want to, obviously, and you can attest to this, Vero, about the album designing. That takes time in itself.
Yes.
And something else is like when you're selecting all these products that you want to offer, be careful with not offering everything that you find. Don't offer too many things. Like we only offer 3 album sizes. We only offer 4 print sizes, because the more options that you give your client, you're going to give them decision fatigue, and you're going to confuse them, and they're not going to buy anything.
Right.
Less is better. Just think of the luxury brands. When you go into what are luxury stores, if you go to Hermes, you're not going to walk in there and it's not going to be Walmart where you see 50 shirts. And so that you're going to have 3-4 shirts, 3-4 purses, and that's there's what you buy.
Right.
And you end up buying anyway, even though they're thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like if you offer too much, you're just going to confuse the client and you're going to lose the sale.
Yeah.
But definitely that decision fatigue. And then once you've got your products, once you got your numbers down, learn how to make a collection.
Okay.
That's the other one. Because you want to make those collections to where not everything, you're not giving them everything in that middle package, or you're not giving them everything in that low package. Give them a reason to go up to the next tier.
Okay.
Yeah.
And definitely it's one of those things that, like you said, get yourself a mentor that's already been doing it, because it can get confusing.
Yeah.
It will get confusing, trust me. And, but it is a game changer, right?
Yeah.
For a photographer's business, it can, like you said, it can pay for a month's worth of studio. And if you start making more than one sale,
it can take you from making, I don't know what's the most you can make during, I'm just talking about like a portrait session. I would say maybe around 500 is the most you'd want to charge. I don't know, maybe 700, but it could take you from a 500, 700 to a $2,000 per session type of thing.
And that gives you, having the additional money gives you more than just like living, right? It gives you the availability to spend more time for your clients. You're not having to book constant constant sessions to stay afloat. You have time. You're giving yourself that payment.
Yeah.
Gives you the time to be quality for your clients.
And I'll be honest, man. The clients that are willing to spend more are almost always the easier clients to work with.
Okay.
You know, so you're gonna have easier clients. You know,
Yeah.
not saying that all of them are. I'm sure. You know, but from our experience, the ones that are willing to pay more are almost always the easier clients.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, definitely IPS is a game changer for photographers. What are some of the key steps that, when you're planning the IPS process, you're getting your client in, right? What are some of the steps that you guys take before having your, I know you said 2 weeks sometimes, right? But what are those steps that you guys take to make sure you set yourself up for success?
Steps to make well, one, make sure you get good pictures first.
Yeah.
You know, but first make sure you get good pictures. You know, but let me put it this way: if somebody already hired you, they already like your work, so
Gotcha.
that probably shouldn't even be a thing. So
Yeah.
they hired you because they like your work, and if they hired you because you're cheap, then maybe it's time to up your prices. You know,
Gotcha.
make sure they hire you because they like your work first. What else?
Being transparent with them, they're more open to tell you what they want or their vision if they trust you.
Yeah.
So making sure they're already educated in the prices, so they already know what we're offering. And then we're not going to push them into buying it. We're open, transparent. This is available to you if you want it, and it makes them more comfortable with it.
What was the question again? What was the question?
Like, what are some of the key steps that you guys take, preparing for an IPS when your client comes in to look at their
Well, the other thing too is like when they come in, you want to set a good experience. So you're like when they come in, if obviously if it's not for a quinceañera, if it's like for a wedding, we'll set up champagne and all this other stuff. That way, kind of gets them in a good mood, and going through the images, all that stuff, all that is just part of the experience,
Gotcha.
Make sure they're having a good experience. That way they'll buy. And alcohol always helps to loosen up the wallet a little bit.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So set up a nice atmosphere for your clients to come in.
Yeah. Make sure it smells good, stuff like that. Get yourself a good expensive candle. Don't get you a glazed plug-in or anything like that. Go get yourself a good candle and it smells good and everything.
What are some candles you recommend?
We get one from Costa Brazil.
Okay.
That's the one that we use. I think it's only one that they sell. Them, but if that one run out and we can't get to it, is who is it?
Society. It's a cute little candle shop in Bishop Arts.
Oh, really? Yeah. Shout out to Society, right? Out in Bishop's Arts. And that's where your studio's located, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So can you share some effective strategies on upselling?
He kicked it.
Oh, I thought I heard something back. I was like,
We're falling apart today. It's the weather, y'all. We apologize, man. We're having fun. It's the weather. It's the weather today. It's what in the 30s in Dallas.
Yeah.
It's raining, and Rafa thinks the walls are falling.
hey man, I don't know what construction work you got to do to your house.
Went low budget.
Right.
Can you share some effective strategies for upselling? Right. So like if you're offering additional services and products, what are some effective strategies that you guys use?
So definitely, so when you make your collections, don't just have your collection be like, okay, have the client say, oh, I want that top package. And then that's it. They can't buy anymore.
Yeah.
So underneath our collections, if you get our top package, we have something that underneath it that says additional discounts, 50% off any additional products on our top package. Then the middle package, you have additional discounts, 30% off any packages. I can't remember what the bottom one is. So it's basically giving them more opportunities to buy more stuff.
Gotcha.
And we always get like when they buy the top package, they'll buy parent albums.
Okay.
And the parent album, so let's say they get a 12 by 12 album.
Yeah.
The parent album that they get is a 12 by 12 album. And it's the exact copy of the one that they have. We don't make a lot off of that. I think we make like 200 off of the parent album. Yeah. But it doesn't cost me anything to just click 2.
Yeah.
So I'll make $200 just to do that real quick.
Right.
But yeah, those additional discounts gives you more opportunities to make more money.
Gotcha.
That's one. And in our middle package, our album is a 10 by 10. After their wedding, when they come in, we give them the opportunity to upgrade to a 12 by 12.
Yeah.
You know, that's another one. Always giving them the opportunity to upgrade.
Okay.
Same thing with our middle and lowest package. For our wedding collection, they get 8 by 12 size digitals from their wedding.
Yeah.
After their engagement, they have the opportunity to upgrade those digital files to a full resolution.
Yeah.
So it's constantly always giving them a reason to upgrade. Same thing, like even if they went with our top package, they got the biggest album, they got all the high resolution digital. So what more can they get?
Right.
More pages for your album. So now, you know, you're giving them more pages for the album to be able to include more of their family, more of blah, blah, blah. So always give yourself an opportunity to upgrade.
Gotcha.
That's why you can't just give everything away in that middle package or whatnot. You know?
Right. Right. So why then, you know, if you allow them to upgrade, can they downgrade after that? Or
You can't downgrade, but you can upgrade.
okay. That's why I wanted to know if that was not, you know, you never know. There's people out there that might just be like, no, I want the 8 by 8, something smaller.
And you can't just go out with an 8 by 8, and we're totally fine with that. If you want to pay $50 for an 8 by 8,
Yeah.
go ahead. You know.
That's nice.
But then you're not going to get any digitals. You just get that 8 by 8.
Gotcha.
So you're just going to walk out with that print. You know?
Yeah. So there is a lot of behind the scenes things, like you mentioned earlier. You have to make sure you set up and you know your IPS business, because all these questions can come up, and they probably have came up in the past, and you just got to know how to answer it confidently, right? And I think that's the major key when you're doing an IPS sell, that you're selling to your client knowing that you know your business.
No, that you know your numbers. It's the biggest thing. If you know your numbers, you know that if you know this album costs you $500 and you're selling it for $2,000, then you know that you can give a $500 discount and you're still gonna make X amount of dollars. So you don't have me do math right now.
Right.
But
We're not gonna make it do that right now.
But
Me.
if that album costs you $500 and you're selling it for $700, and you haven't done your numbers, and they say, well, can I get a $500 discount in your mind, or a $300 discount in your mind? So, well, I'm still going to make $400.
Yeah.
No, you're losing money now.
Right.
You know, that's why it's important to do your numbers. You know?
Gotcha. And it took you weeks and weeks, right, just to get it perfected.
Yep.
And now you have a system that when you come in, they come in, and both of you guys kind of have your roles during the IPS, I'm assuming, right? So what's kind of like your role, Vero?
I do all the notes, taking down the orders, and just making sure I'm listening to the conversation and getting all the questions they're answering.
Yeah.
Like asking, answered. Because sometimes he's thinking about the next thing he's going to say, and I'm making sure, did we answer that clearly enough for you?
Gotcha.
You know?
This sounds bad, but people are stupid. So you really have to make sure you let them know black and white. This is what I'm telling you, and this is what you're going to get.
Gotcha.
So, you know, I want to avoid that, you know, well, you didn't say that. You didn't tell me that. You know, I don't want, you know.
Yeah, that happened to me once, and I learned my lesson.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's why when you say that, I was like, yeah, I know what you mean. You got to kind of slow it down and make sure it's clear for everybody.
Right. That's why in our initial email, after the session, and the email that they get to book their sales session, those 3 times it says no digitals are included. You have to buy. Yeah, and we say it in all those 3 times. So if they had to have read it once at least, you know. Right.
Yeah. And since Vero, you're taking the notes, right? You're the one that's placing the orders for the clients, since you kind of are aware of, like, they ask for a 30 by 20, a 12 by 12, and a parent album.
Yep, I document the collections they want to go through or any products, and then if they know the images, you know, get that down. But if not, then we start the communication with them through email on which ones they want to. Images they want to use.
Okay, we try to at least get the big prints.
The big ones.
Yeah,
there.
Have them select the image for the big prints to get those ordered.
Yeah,
and then obviously the album design takes a little bit longer, right? And do you give them their final price there, or do you email it once you tally it all up? How does that step?
We give it to them there, and one or two things will happen. They will either pay for the full thing, credit card, cash, or whatever, or they'll just do it in payments. They'll do a 25% deposit. We won't do anything unless we have that 25% deposit, and then the rest is paid off before you come to pick up your product.
Okay. Typically, what's the turnaround time for like an album?
It's really based on the clients.
Okay.
Because we do the initial design, so within about 2 weeks, you'll get your design back digitally. And when they're in the studio, we walk them through the design process too, so they already know what email they're going to receive, how they're going to look at their album, and what they're going to do to approve it.
Yeah.
And we show them if they want to make changes. So once they see that and review it, we give them 30 days to make a decision on if they want it or to make changes, and it kind of goes back and forth until they're happy.
Okay. So then you do the initial designing, send it to them for their approval, and then once they approve, then you send it out, and it's a week or two or something.
Yeah. So for it to get back, that doesn't take too long, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the longest process is in them making changes, you know, what changes they want.
Right.
But we do the heavy lifting, so by that time, it's only going to be 1 or 2 photos that they want to swap out.
Gotcha. Just to kind of help tell the story of the album.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just pretend I'm a new photographer that's transitioning into IPS. Now, I want to start doing IPS, whether if it's family portraits, weddings, quinceañera, whatever the situation is, right? What are some of the resources that you guys recommend, starting my journey so I can learn how to do IPS?
If you're just starting out, I would suggest using Lightroom because you're not spending any money just yet.
Okay.
Obviously, investing money, that always kind of takes a little bit. But I would say, because this is the way we did it, we started with Lightroom. Lightroom has the slideshow capability. So use that, so that when the client comes in, they see the slideshow of your favorite images.
Okay.
And then after that, you can do the culling in Lightroom, have them select 5 stars if they like it, or 1 star if they don't like it. Then you do all that. Then with Lightroom, you can tab it to where only the 5-star photos show up.
Yeah.
So there, you've already done all that. Once you outgrow Lightroom, you can switch over to something called InView, which is what we use, which does all that what I just mentioned, but it's a little bit nicer looking.
Okay.
But yeah, InView.
InView?
InView. The letter N-VU.
Yeah. And what does that do?
And so basically everything that I said, they also host galleries, but you could also do the mobile app. They also host a mobile app for you and everything.
Okay.
There. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little bit easier to use too.
So that's more of just like the process of getting ready for the album, right? Is that what I'm understanding?
No, it's for the
sales in general.
the sales.
Oh, the sales in general.
Yeah. The sales part.
Okay.
Yeah. So that I would say use Lightroom or InView, and then the other I would say use was Excel or Sheets, which is free, so that you can do your numbers.
Okay.
Make your numbers and have everything there. Yeah. So Vero, she created a Docs sheet, Excel sheet for us that we inputted every single product costs us individually, and then from there, it told us how much profit we put in there, what we wanted to sell it for.
Yeah.
How much profit we're gonna make and what percentage that is, So we did all that, and then from there it would make our collections. Mm-hmm. And if I wanted to change something, I would just type in the name and it would automatically change the pricing. Vero does all that. I don't know how to do all that.
Yeah.
I just take advantage of it.
It's it's a good system to have in process, right, Vero? Because as product cost of goods change for the photographer, you want to go in there and let's just say that 20 by 30 increase by $10.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, I've been getting a lot of emails personal
that everything's going up. Yeah.
Apple subscription, $10. I'm like, what the heck? Nothing's changing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that happens. So you have to have a system that you can go in quickly and adjust it.
Yeah. You adjust it in the main page, and then it adjusts throughout your whole collections.
Right.
And now you'll know if you're losing money or if you're making money.
Right. Yeah. Right. I remember a while back you told me that you had a software that you would, have your clients send you a picture of like their living room space. Yeah. And then that way they can kind of envision what a print would look like.
Mm-hmm. So that's through our CRM I don't know what CRM stands for. Do you know?
Client resource manager.
Okay, so
I just made that up.
that sounded good. It sounded good.
It's just like, yeah,
All right.
no, that's what it stands for.
Okay. But yeah, so that's through our. So what it is it's just kind of another way to upsell. So especially since clients don't really know a lot about sizes,
Yeah.
they'll come in saying, "Hey, I want an 8x10. You know, that's what I want to buy." But so what they can do is they can take a picture of the wall that they plan on hanging this photo, and then they'll email it, text it to me. I'll have it up. I'll upload it to our CRM. That way they can see their living room.
Yeah.
And then I can type in there that, hey, I want to put that picture, whatever picture is the one that they're interested in an 8x10. This is what it's going to look like on that wall. And it's going to show you that 8x10 looks this tiny behind a couch, you know?
Right.
So now they'll realize that they have to buy a 40x60 in order to fill up that area.
Yeah.
You know?
And
Yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Do you find that tool successful or useful for
They've used it a few times. Not every client uses it, but yeah.
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 Okay. And you were going to say something before I interrupted you.
Did I? I don't know.
I don't think so.
No? Okay. Okay. Well, let's move on to part of the IPS, we get the client in, we tell them the products and services that we offer, right? We do our sales spiel. Obviously, our goal as photographers is not only capture their wedding or quinceañera day, but also give them the memory that a tangible, right? That they can hang up on their wall or an album. So we've gone through all that process. They come in, you wind them, you dine them a little bit. Now, let's just say you've had a client that says, we're good. How do you, we don't want to buy anything extra? Or how do you take that and try to not twist it around, because we're not trying to twist it, right? But how do you kind of change the conversation to maybe get them to you know what, let me change your mind and buy something?
So for us, we're not pushy.
Okay.
So if somebody says, I don't want to buy anything, good, you're fine.
Okay.
You got everything you need from us.
Right.
But, one thing I do recommend is that when you are doing a sales process and you've handed over your pricing for them to look at, and you say, okay, any question, you've gone over everything, like you said. And I say, okay, guys, any questions? What collections do you guys want? Just be quiet. Right after that. Don't say anything. Let them talk amongst each other. Let them, whatever it is that they're going through their head.
Yeah.
Don't say anything, because if you start talking first, the very first thing you're gonna it's the hardest part about IPS.
Yeah.
It's shutting up.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part, because in your head you're thinking, oh, it's too much for them. Oh, whatever excuse you're putting in your head. Be quiet. Let them do it. Because if you start saying, "Oh well, we'll give you a 10% discount," now you've already shot yourself.
You're
in the foot.
devaluing yourself.
Yeah. So let them talk about it. They're one of the two things is gonna happen if you just shut up. They're gonna say, "We want this package," or they're gonna say, "I don't know. It's too much for us."
Yeah.
And then that's gonna tell you how to respond.
Okay.
They say it's too much. We can make it in payment plans.
Yeah.
We just have for 25% off.
Okay.
Oh, down. Sorry, 25% down.
Yeah.
Once let them talk, and then that'll give you a way. That'll show you how to respond.
So what do you do in that silent moment? Like, you're just kind of thinking of something else, like what I'm gonna have for lunch today, or
I'm thinking y'all better buy, because I've spent all this money. I've already gave y'all champagne and hang up.
It's usually when he leaves me in there awkwardly. He's like, I'm going to run to the restroom. And I'm sitting there like,
I can't go to the restroom. Awkward. Yeah.
No, it's just
but we have also offered, when we see them trying to make a decision, you guys want us to step out for a minute? We can let you guys have the room.
Right.
And then sometimes people will use that.
Yeah.
So just read your client.
Yeah. Read the client. Yeah.
read the client and shut up.
Yeah, because I can just imagine, just that situation where you're like, here's the prices, it's XYZ, bam, bam, bam. And then it's like quietness, right?
That's exactly what it's like. Yeah.
You're just kind of staring at each other, or are you just kind of looking into the screen at wow, that's a beautiful picture.
Well, we're just there, but you hear the client saying, well, what do you think about this?
Okay.
And you'll a lot of times what you will hear is like, well, if let's say, for example, the top package includes a guest book, but the middle one doesn't. But the middle one is the one that's more in their budget. Those you'll hear them say, well, if we had the guest book here, it's gonna be this much money, blah blah blah. It doesn't make sense. Let's just go with the top package.
Yeah.
You hear that whispering to
Yeah.
to themselves, and that's why in the sheet that we give them has the collections, but then on the side it has the
A la carte.
a la carte
A la carte. Yeah.
with all the pricing, and each collection tells you, okay, originally this is the original price,
Yeah.
and then this is the price that you're getting it for.
Right.
So they're always going to do the math in their head. So just have it there for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And they can see the savings. And like you said, I've seen his process before, and it looks like a menu. It's literally a menu, right? And it's very beautiful. It's like really nice and laid out. And it's just, you look at it and it's like, okay, that's where you just got to be quiet.
Yeah. Yeah. Let them do all that whispering between each other and just wait for them to.
So you let them have the final word and say, yes, we're going to go with this,
or no, we're not going to get anything, or
Gotcha.
it's too much for us, or whatever.
Gotcha. Definitely IPS is a interesting process of learning, right? And I guess one of the things that I've learned from my own experience once I've implemented is not be afraid.
Yeah.
You can't be afraid because...
The thing is like, so I told you this, it's just like I'll tell everybody that's going to start in this. If you're scared, fine, be scared. Do it with the clients that are already receiving their digital files.
Yeah.
That way you'll realize it's not as scary as you think.
Right.
And a lot of the other thing that we always get, well, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be a salesy or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not. You saw that we don't make it salesy. It's literally like we tell them. We always say, what's it?
There's no pressure.
This is just here if you want to take advantage of it.
Right.
But there's no pressure. There's no minimum to buy. If you don't want anything, fine. You don't have to leave here with anything.
Right. Makes sense. That makes sense.
Because I hate that pushy thing. So yeah.
So last question here before we start wrapping up. What is some advice to a photographer that you want to give them if they want to start implementing this today?
Basically like do it with the clients that you're already giving digital files to. That way you're not gonna feel as like, oh, they're being forced into something. Right. And you're kind of getting all the kinks out of the way at the same time. Give them their digitals, but just show that if the client just sees, oh, I have these things that are available for me. Yeah. You're gonna realize that maybe 75% of them be like, oh, well, let me get that. If it's available, let me get that. It's more people will buy than you think.
Yeah. No, it's just not.
Is that how you started giving digitals?
Yeah. I started giving digitals away for free, and
but like when you started your IPS, is there still people getting their digitals?
Yeah. If this was moving in forward, I wasn't gonna retroactively go and start locking them down for people that already got them, But moving forward, I started doing that, and obviously if it's like the top collection, then I'll give them some really good pictures in high res.
But so like also like the clients that were already receiving digitals, when you were doing IPS with them, were they buying or?
Yes they were buying. Yeah Just because at that point now I can showcase hey, here's some pictures, here's some albums, this is what it could look like at home.
I remember you texted me a few of the amounts that you made. Was that some of those clients?
Yeah.
Those were good amounts too.
No, it was fun. I had that same feeling. I went up to my wife and gave her a big old high five, and I told you guys, I was like, I'm gonna take you out to dinner and whatnot, right?
Still waiting on it, but
I thought we went to McDonald's paying out. No, just kidding. No, and it was just one of those feelings. I'm just like you said, the very first one. It's just like, I was having that imposter syndrome. Like, am I really doing this? But I went in there and I tried it, implemented what you showed us, and man, it's a game changer, dude. It's a game changer. Like I don't know why photographers aren't doing that. It may be just because either they don't know how to set it up,
or they probably just don't even know about it.
It's like because a lot of work in the background too. You have to do a lot of research on your product.
Exactly.
You have to know the companies.
I think that's the major thing, the research of your cost of goods, right? Because you're dealing with so many different prints, album companies.
I would say the hardest thing about IPS is that doing your numbers, the cost of goods, and what it's going to cost you to run that part of the business. That's the hardest part. But if you can get that, everything else is easy. But I remember when when you showed me those numbers, it's like I showed Vero right away too.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
It was a celebration moment, guys.
Well, and not just that, there was another photographer that I've been trying to talk into, like, hey, you got to do IPS, you got to do IPS.
Yeah.
And she never wanted to do it. And then I told her, well, you know, when we were starting to do IPS for you, I was like, well, I'm showing George how to do IPS, whatnot. And then when you sent me the amounts,
The
that you
success
made,
stories.
yeah, the success stories. When you sent me the amounts, I was like, look, this could have been you. And she didn't reply back.
Goodness. Well, if you're out there listening, you need to reply back, book a consultation, because definitely it's well worth the time and energy. It's I was racking my head the first couple of weeks just figuring out my numbers, but once you got that system in place, it's easy.
Yeah.
And just get that first one out of the way, get your sale, and it's just like feel like a rock star, you know. But
like also, do your collections include albums?
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're upselling the pages and all that stuff too.
Correct.
Right? Okay,
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can add, you know, let's just say a 20-page album, part of the collection, right?
Right.
That's what you're
Yeah.
leading to, yeah.
Well, because we always start for like with a 20-page also.
Yeah.
Because you want to give yourself that chance to upgrade. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do it this way.
Yeah. So go ahead and explain the process. No.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No.
This is your chance. Well, go ahead, because I'm thinking about something. Go ahead. Explain
Okay.
the process.
So the way Rafa showed me is like include a album, right? Let's just say, for example, 12 by 12, 20 pages, up to 60 images, right? And let's just say your client wants 100 images. So that's the opportunity where you can upsell additional pages, right? And that's kind of like the process of IPS. That's the mentality of IPS. You want to kind of get your foot in the door and have a product to sell to later come back and tag along additional products and services.
And so that's one way to do it. The way we do it is a little different. We tell them we're going to design it for you, and then what do you call it? They'll add pages to, like, we'll tell them, okay, this is the collections. If you want to add more pages, blah blah. Then we'll design the album according to how many pages they got.
Yeah.
But another way of doing it is I know other photographers that they'll over design. So like let's say the client's album comes with 20 pages.
Yeah.
Before they'll design a 40-page album, for example. And then they'll present it to the client, and then it's up to the client to remove pages. And obviously, the more pages you remove, the less you're getting of the story. So that's one way to do it.
Okay, I've never heard of that method.
Yeah, a lot of people, well, I want all of them.
Yeah.
So that's how they upsell.
Wow. Okay.
And then the other way of upselling is when a client comes in to pick up their USB or whatever.
Yeah.
They sit here and they literally look at the whole wedding.
Yeah.
So if you are gonna deliver 1,000 pictures, they literally sit here and watch 1,000 pictures.
Wow.
And then they have to go in and select the amount of photos any photos that they want in the album, they select it at that time.
Yeah.
And then that's what's like, if they end up with selecting 800 photos, obviously 800 photos are not going to fit in a 20 by 20.
Right.
You kind of have an idea of how many pages that's going to take.
Right.
That's another way to do it, and that's how you upsell also.
Yeah. I've heard of that method where they get they sit there for hours at your studio.
Yeah, dude.
And then you're just kind of clicking away, and you're just like kind of not waiting, you know what I mean? But it's a fun moment for them because they get to see all those pictures, right?
To me, that just seems like way too long. I don't want to spend that much time with people. No, it's just it's tedious to me. Yeah,
and it's more, and that's more something personal that they need to do on their own time. You know, husband and wife sit together and kind of go through those moments and be like, I love this one and I love that one, right? And just kind of relive those moments. I've heard of that method. And I'm like, I don't know, man.
You got to find out just what works for you,
right?
And obviously that your method works for you and our method works for us. So yeah,
everybody has a different style, right? And then, what editing software? Since we're still talking about albums, right? Do you guys use any specific editing software, Vero? Since you're the editor,
Editing?
Yeah, because Vero handles, like, once people come in for IPS, Vero handles the clients from there. I don't touch them at all. But
for designing the albums,
yes,
just smart albums. I think
smart albums. Okay.
Smart albums to design it, and then to show it to the client, to show them the soft copy. Our CRM also has a album
A preview, like an album preview.
yeah, where they can preview and they can request changes and all, make notes and all
Yeah.
that stuff there. So our CRM, which is Sprout Studio,
Okay.
they have that feature there
Okay.
too, which is really good because it makes it easier on the client. And
Gotcha.
again, it's always about making it
Yeah.
easier.
Make it easier on them. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then once they, you design the album, they prove, you receive it, then you do the final Q&A, I call it, quality assurance on it, making sure what do you look for in the albums that
Well, definitely no issues with like the spellings of names
Yeah.
or dates, and making sure the corners and everything is intact and they're
also
quality
like
products.
even before it gets printed though, like once the client approves it, we go through it and we clean up the album, make sure there's no pimples anywhere or nothing that's distracting. We remove all that stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then we send it out to the printers.
Okay. So definitely it's not as easy, but I mean you're gonna get your money's worth when doing IPS, right?
Right.
And then too, once they've purchased all this stuff, it's not just about like, okay, here's your stuff.
Yeah.
Bye. Make it an experience again,
Yeah.
Like for us, like with our albums, we put white gloves in the albums just to make them look a little bit fancier.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They come in and it's not just everything's in a bag and here you go home.
Yeah.
We have the print hanging up there. We have the album there. That way they can look through it. All their prints are laid out.
Yeah.
So that way they can see everything, experience it for the first time.
Yeah.
And then once they look at it, it's for two reasons. So one, so they can be presented with everything nicely, and two, so they're also at that time doing a quality check.
Yeah.
They're making sure that the print looks good. They're going through the album to make sure that everything looks good. Because if they see like a chip corner while they're being presented to them, they're going to point it out.
Right.
That way they can't come back and say, "Hey, it was messed up. Can we get another one?"
Yeah. Okay.
You already approved it already.
Right. Yeah, I've seen some of your stories when you guys get ready for a client review.
Yeah, we have those. Yeah.
Yeah, those are, if you guys are not following Rafael, it's Rafael Badillo Photography. Yeah. Follow him on Instagram, on TikTok, and on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Man, their stories it gets me exciting when I see y'all's IPS, getting ready, because it kind of, me personally, I've gone through those moments and I know the excitement of, here we go.
They're coming in.
In. They're going to see my artwork, printed on an album. And it's just exciting because that's what we do it for, right?
Yeah.
Capture memories, do the art, and then obviously, document or give them a final product that they can be happy with.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool, guys. Guys, it's always been an exciting conversation. Before we send it off, what other ideas or what do you guys got going on, like, coming up in the future?
So right now I'm concentrating a lot on making tips,
Okay.
videos for couples that are getting married or in the planning process or whatnot. That way it'll help guide them through this, complicated world of planning a wedding.
Yeah.
Just so that they can make it easier on them, and
Yeah.
just for future brides,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what right now we're concentrating, since we're a little bit slower right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we're working on right now.
Yeah,
It's
we've
a
been
little
seeing
matter of videos.
Yeah, we've been seeing you guys on Instagram a lot lately, videos, and I've seen some of those tips, and they're very informative, man. Keep those coming.
And definitely, if you have a bride out there or if you're getting married or whatever, just send them to our Instagram. They're there.
Yeah.
It's not. We don't need to book them. It's your client.
Yeah, it's what it was. We call it evergreen information.
Evergreen information. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and then also you have a YouTube channel that you're starting up, right?
We just started the YouTube channel with all that information, with all those videos. But also, my daughter, me and my daughter, we make a bunch of little small videos, which
Yeah.
I'm supposed to. She's probably gonna get onto me because I haven't posted it yet. But she has like these little recipes that she would like to try.
Yeah.
So we post those up there too. Those are just more for fun and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I think the people want to see, man. They want to see genuine people. They
Yeah.
want to see who you are, not just your pretty pictures.
That's kind of the point also too. I mean, just to show them that, hey, we're regular people with kids, and our kids annoy us, and
We'll hopefully take over editing for us.
yeah.
Okay. There we go. There we go. So definitely. All right. I'm excited for you guys, and I know you guys are always going to continue to be successful.
Thank you.
Thank you guys again so much for coming to another episode. It's always a pleasure having you guys here.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
How'd you feel today, Vero?
It's still the same.
Still the same. Still
I
the
hate
same.
this side of the camera.
Yeah, no, well, you guys did great. And I, again, appreciate y'all's time and all this useful information, guys. And again, if you guys want to go follow Rafa and Vero, it's Rafa Badillo Photography on Instagram and TikTok, right? And on YouTube, I'm assuming it's the same.
Everything's the same. Rafael Badillo photo.
Rafael Badillo
Photo. Sorry, you've been saying photography as photo. Yeah.
Photo, my bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
I just realized it too, so don't worry.
Yeah, so give them a follow. And if you guys are interested in learning more on IPS process, definitely go to their website. Go to the, what was the slug?
Under Rafael, on our website, rafaelbadillo.com, go to the info section, and you'll see the mentorship problem. And, if you have any small questions, reach out on Instagram or whatever, and we'll answer small questions. That's not a problem. For
sure.
We're not going to hold back anything.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. No gatekeeper.
Yeah. Yep.
Community over competition, guys. All right, y'all take care. Again, guard your heart, guard your mind. Take care. Peace. Se acabó.
Thank you.
Se acabó. Let's go.